Good, good. Basil, hello again.
Yes.
My,
Hello.
my name is Vlad. I represent the community C19 in Moldova. We are a bunch of IT professionals willing to help health sector and citizens to overcome this crisis provoked by COVID-19 virus. And please introduce yourself and tell a bit about your background and what are you doing in Moldova.
Sure. Thank you for inviting me. I'm Basil Nikas. I represent a company called the Institute for Economic Growth and Legal Reform. I've been here since 2015. Actually, I've moved here permanently because I love Moldova. It's been a great country. A couple of things we're doing is between the business aspect, but also in IT. IT background, I developed the first e-procurement system for the states of Maine, Idaho, and Texas at the turn of the century, believe it. But I have an extensive background in emergency management. I'm an urban search and rescue person, firefighter, and expert in pandemics. So we met with the mayor and we're assisting the mayor in putting both logistical support and coming up with IT suggestions on what we can do to enhance the response.
I assume that our government, or at least the authorities of the city, have developed some kind of tools to track people infected with COVID, or what are the current situation? I think you are aware of this.
There are some tools. As a matter of fact, our team, we're based here at ASEM, the 8th floor in Block B, in the IT for business applications. We've redone the top floor, and there's 4 or 5 American companies here. Our company and Trimetrica, S3. S3 is one of the largest GIS companies in the world, and we've just finished mapping and putting in a dashboard for the Ministry of Health to track and monitor the different locations. And you actually can go online through the Ministry of Health to see that. We're also working now for another one for the city itself. But there's many tools that we need to add to that. And there's a lot of opportunities for the really great IT companies here in Moldova. What we have is the platform, the base platform is a GIS system so that we can start pinpointing different aspects of it. But to the GIS system, which we're getting now from the data from the Ministry of Health, is not locations, but basically numbers of infected, locations of where they are. But if you could look at a GIS as a core to that, we need to start recording in database because data is the most important thing in responding to anything. So, for example, we need to start the database based on the healthcare providers, where the nurses are, where the doctors are, what their shifts are, what hospitals are going at to, what transportation they need. All of this type of is a data platform. Same for people registering, seniors, pensioners, people with disabilities that may need help so that we know where they are. Volunteer system, the cities ask for volunteers. We need to register the volunteers, who they are, where they are, what their talents are. So these are all various databases that we need to develop quickly.
So it's basically a resource management system for the pandemic situation.
Exactly. So we have a quick aspect to where to look. So it's a combination of finding the right the data and locations, and for a one-stop shopping, both as a dashboard for the government to use for internal use, and then for the citizens to have as an access, like which hospitals are doing what. We're also trying to create a system for mass testing. So for mass testings, we want to have a system where people go online, record where they live, register where they live, and then if they need to be tested, a database and a calendar so that they can have appointments. So we want to set up in each of the 5 sectors locations for outdoor testing. So in order to do that, first step, we need to have all the people's names. Then the second step is to where these locations are. And third, to set up appointments so that we don't have a mass of people coming in all at once to be checked.
Yeah.
So it's open to the creative mind. There's a lot of logistics support and a lot of database management. So what we're going to be asking for is for anybody who has ideas that we can add them to this system. So there's an opportunity for, companies and individuals who have creativity to contact us, and let's start rolling with it.
Do we need any help with this platform?
Definitely. This is what I'm basically asking for. I'll be posting probably tonight or tomorrow, and I'll send it to you so you can post it on your system. The list of things we're looking for as far as either programming or people who want to do database input. It'll be quite an extensive list so that we have a lot of volunteers, and certain periods there'll be some funding for some of the projects. So that's what we'll be doing.
But how about the development of this platform? Is it a commercial product you're selling, or?
We're not selling it. We've donated this to the government. It's basically an S3 GIS platform with a lot of APIs, so we can work with it and databases. I'll completely describe that in the posting that I'll give you tonight or tomorrow morning.
Yeah, very good. And then the question is, why I'm asking about this, because we're an IT community, so basically we can help, at least we can commit something in terms of technology and the project, so we can write code, maybe we can do design and all this stuff.
That's exactly what I'm looking for. That's why we're having this interview, because it's a call to our community here to either have, if they've already got programs or applications that we can use, one, or we need to have something customized. We want to use the community here. We don't want to, just keep it within Moldova.
Yeah,
we've got enough talent here. Exactly.
Yeah. Then another question is about how do you see integration of this platform? I assume that you interact with our authorities and you already have a contact, and you've done some work on this.
Oh, we're already doing the work for the Ministry of Health. We've just put up the dashboard and we're managing it there, but we want to expand what's going into that dashboard, and we're finalizing an agreement with the city itself and eventually the government. And then the idea is not only just for Chisinau, obviously, but then we go to all the different cities, rayons and so forth. And actually, if we do this right, we can also offer to other countries. Yeah, I've checked with them. Some of the more sophisticated countries, and I don't mean sophisticated in that form, but just with resources like Italy, Germany, and others. But it's going to spread to other countries. And I mean, for example, I'm Greek heritage. Greece could easily take this, and other countries as they develop it. So I'd like to market it as a Moldovan solution.
How about the development of the product, because in order to develop something you need to know what's the problem, how to solve it, so you need insights from the inside of the system, so from doctors, from managers of all levels of the system. Do you have this?
That's where I come in. I've had 15 years of experience managing operations and logistics. I've done presidential elections and campaigns, inaugurations. I was in Katrina, handled all that. The World Trade Center, I was there working the operations. So I've got the experience. I've also had the latest trainings from the World Health Organizations on COVID. And I have the resources. What I will be doing is giving a spec. I know when you design a program, you've got to have the spec. So that's what will be coming out in the next day or so for everyone to look at and say, hey, I can do this, or hey, I can do that. So there will be a complete spec of the needs assessment that we have.
Okay, this is great because it's a one big important project we can collaborate on.
Right now we're concentrating on this, and I look at it as sort of a wedge. Whenever we've done our businesses and we're promoting different technologies, you want to enter with the first thing that it's called the hurt factor. What is hurting somebody the most? We come up with a solution. So now if we create this consolidated enterprise with multiple talents from Moldova and make a package, we say, okay, this is for emergency management. The next step is what? We can come up with the other things that the government needs, government and B2B. One of the things we created 20 years ago was the first e-procurement system for government. And basically we did it on the cloud before there was a cloud, but it offered it as a service and offered it to the government for free, but funding mechanism was a percentage of the transactions that went through it. So if you think a little bit out of the box, there are a lot of government services that need data management and so forth, and there's ways of funding it either through grants or revenue streams.
Mm-hmm. Okay, if we go in depth of your project, can you share what's already done and what's next on the table?
As far as emergency management?
Yeah.
Okay, I need to do some research because we're just meeting with all the different entities. Like we learned that the Ministry of Health needed the dashboard. We know what's going on. We're having meetings with the city, to see, other than what I come up with, the suggestions. I think the first level will be the suggestions for this project itself that come from the experience I have in putting together the list of applications and things that we need to do. So we can start off immediately, get this out of the way, and eventually once we're in, we look at other applications, or at needs actually, that the group can do. And we're here, I have my own business here, but what we're doing is trying to consolidate and bring different IT projects so that Moldova is building a reputation in the world as being a good IT center. And because few people know about Moldova, sort of, this is the opportunity to build it as a very strong country asset, if you want to call it that.
Yeah.
So what we're doing is pulling all this together and building from there.
Yeah, this is right. I agree. Okay, then we are waiting for details about the project. I suppose you are going to, I don't know, maybe publish that this is an open source project in order to make the collaboration easy. Maybe use the GitHub. What do you think about it?
I'll talk to you offline about the best ways to publish it. I'll definitely put it on the Facebook, and I'll send you all the information so you can publish it on whatever mediums you think, and then we can talk more in detail on the best way to give it the biggest exposure so we get as many people responding.
I don't have any questions. Maybe you have a message for our community. You can speak now.
The one message, non-technical, I want to talk about is, you hear different people talking about, is this really serious or not? This is very serious, especially for Moldova, because we have the largest elder population of other countries. I mean, it's close to 60% is over 60 years old. So we are extremely vulnerable, and we have so many small villages and so forth. So the most important thing is don't village family. I mean, if you feel anything sick, don't go out. I mean, go out for walks. This is important. When they say the city is closed, it doesn't mean that you can't go out in the street. You need to get outside, get some vitamin D from the sun, and be healthy. Keep your windows open, but obviously don't go in groups and so forth. But do not visit towns, villages, or anything. I know you probably have grandparents and so forth. It's very difficult because one person can go to a village and wipe out a village, literally. Because most of the villagers are seniors. So it's a hard decision to make, but look at the rules, see what people say, what the government says you can do and you can't do, and please abide by them. I'm really pleased to see there's very few people in the city walking around, and they're paying attention, but keep yourself clean, be careful. If you feel any sickness, go to the hospitals or to a doctor. I know there's a lot of reluctance from going to doctors and hospitals, but if you do, you've got to go. Otherwise, it's very serious and you'll infect more people.
Yeah, so stay at home, protect the elders.
Exactly.
Thank you, Basil. Thank you for information. Thank you for the work you're doing. I think the community will be able to help the project, and this will help the whole country, and maybe not only our.
We're counting on it. We're counting on all the people that have so much talent in this country too. It's an opportunity too. I mean, it's a terrible thing to say, but tragedy brings opportunities, so we can get a lot more people involved and give the attention to new and upcoming programmers and the existing companies here.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, thank you for your time and see you soon.
My pleasure. Talk to you soon.